what I love about both of you guys talking about steroids is like you're always kind of operating on the other side of this thing that we see on the internet constantly. Everyone is on steroids. Everyone. A lot of people might not know this, but my ex-wife was a 2-time Olympian and was a finalist in the Olympics and was as clean as a fucking whistle.
What sport?
Swimming.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, elite athlete. And I know there's a lot of athletes in her world that are clean. I know it
They
to
don't
be
know
true.
shit about performance enhancing drugs.
But here's the crazy thing is though, somebody out there is going to move the goalpost and say, how do you really fucking know, Zach? You know? And you guys talk about this, the testing, you know, well, they could have cycled off, so on and so forth. We know that debate. But it is important to know that there are people on steroids and that steroids do provide this massive advantage. And I think the only time anyone should really give a shit is at the elite level. Everyone else needs to fuck off and worry about themselves. Right? So I think another thing too that people are going to all the time bring up is if you're selling something based off of your body that you got off of the use of androgens.
Yes.
And I think there is definitely some validity to that.
Yeah, if you feel you're being lied to, it sucks, right?
Right. And that's what people ultimately felt about Mike O'Hearn was that he may be selling things, he may be doing things based off of this idea of being natural when that is in question constantly. I'm honestly like, we were talking about it before the show. Like, I don't want to do, actually, I might've been talking about it with your brother. I don't want to copy the natty or not call out things. It is nice to talk about it because it goes all my revenue and everything goes boop. Oh, great. You talked about being natty or not, right? Everyone loves to see that. But the reality is what I like to discuss is it important? And how does it change the way that we think about training?
Is what important, real quick?
Calling people out on this level.
Okay.
Does it make a fucking difference? You know, The Rock, one of the Hemsworth brothers?
Yeah.
Commonly called out for being on steroids. The idea that one of them would even ever consider admitting to doing steroids is laughable. What good would it provide them or anyone around them if they did that? A lot of people go to the movie theater, hold up a foam finger, watch The Rock, watch Liam Hemsworth smash into shit, and then they go home. They don't give a shit about how many reps or sets they did. They're not part of our sphere, this tiny little world. We need to understand that pop culture is so fucking massive. Like if we went on the street, like you start to talk to people about weight training, you realize how small this world really is and how small this world of people who actually give a shit about natty or nots are. I'm sure there are people out there that wouldn't even think that Arnold was on steroids. They probably think he's natural still until someone says, well, he took steroids, right? So I guess the main thing I'm getting at is like, it's important to point out if someone's lying for their own benefit, it's important to let people know that.
I have a question for you then, because this is where the water gets murky. How do you know? Like how would you judge? Like if you were like, this isn't a natural physique, and you took a look at somebody, what would be this is a person that claims that they're natural. Pull up Alex Eubank, please. Alex, last name.
Anyone that looks better than
Eubank.
Zach is clearly on tons of shit.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm asking you this,
I know a lot of people like that though.
They think
I
that
do.
way, yeah.
I do, especially in weightlifting. And I would love to talk about the disparity in drug use in weightlifting because I do have a lot on that, but yes.
Yeah, like this kid, I'm pretty sure Greg just made a video about him too, but Greg is telling people that he's on drugs. Now, I don't know if...
How old is this guy?
He's a teenager. I think he's like 18, 19, right?
Yeah. I mean, dude, think about... he's a lacrosse player. I played lacrosse my whole life.
Sick.
Yeah, I mean...
He looks awesome. Shit.
So Lighting. All I can say about this is lighting, pump, what you eat before these pictures. Every last one of them is
Everything
dolled
makes a
up.
difference. Yeah.
All that makes a massive difference.
Now,
And how much does he weigh?
I don't know.
Dude, I have pictures. I have like video of my back, and like I look ridiculous in this cinematic lighting.
Mm-hmm.
We just did like a quick little test shoot for this thing,
Yeah.
and it looks ridiculous. I'm like, I'm not that big.
Yeah.
I know I'm not.
Yeah.
So, look, if you're asking how do I know?
Like, how would you gauge?
How would I know?
Yes.
Like, man, we've discussed this so much in like between weightlifting coaches. The one thing I would know about is if we laid out all the stats, because it is a numbers game.
Yeah.
So we're lucky enough to know what numbers kind of cross that threshold and the likelihood of androgen use.
So we're talking specifically within the realm of like weightlifting.
Yes.
So that's.
But in
okay.
bodybuilding, how the fuck would anyone know? I mean, there are the hints. There are, the thinness of the skin, the discoloration. Sometimes they have acne, sometimes, but it's so ridiculously varied.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we see now is that there's people coming out and being like, yeah, I use steroids. I do TRT, I do this, I do that. And that puts a lot more pressure on supposed fake natties. The discussion has changed a lot. Like all these different things have changed a lot, and especially since you've gotten into to this world. Were you the first person to like openly talk about steroids? Like on, I think I remember the Alan Thrall video from a long time ago, but maybe even before that.
Yeah.
And I just remember the internet going ablaze, being like, "This is so fucking cool. There's finally somebody. Finally."
Yeah, I think
that's why Derek is who he is.
Right. I think in Bigger, Stronger, Faster. I mean,
you said it in
I said it like forever ago. So I even think that movie, I don't think anybody up until that point, from what I can recall, like there has been players, there's been some people that have like said some shit after the fact. Like Lyle Alzado talked about it and like talked about it in a negative way. Arnold did say like, oh, I use them like when I compete type of thing. He alluded to it. But yeah, there really wasn't anything real definitive. But also for me, I was not like a celebrity. Like I didn't have everything to lose. Like you said with The Rock, it's like that is so damaged. That would be so damaging.
Yeah, there's no point
to anybody and everyone around him.
Why would you want people discussing it anyways? People aren't even thinking along those lines. No one gives a shit.
Only a handful of people in the lifting
our world.
community. Yeah, that's it.
Which I love you guys. What Mark said about you earlier is not true.
But it's a small community.
It is. It is very small, and I talk about that a lot. I did a video on the liver. This is it. Like, look at like my back. Ridiculous. That's not how it looks. So
you were gonna say something about the Liver King.
So actually I think the first video I made about Liver King was again to follow up with your experience with him, and it was really, is what we're doing helping anything?
Right.
Is the natty or not call out, does it confer any benefit to the world that we're in? Because we see people succeed regardless. I think what's more important is open discussion about androgens. So I'm not entirely sure that the natty or not callouts are good or bad, but I think the more that we just discuss it and its use, and there's hormone therapy, and it's much more widely attainable and understandable, we can begin to say, I want to be natural, or I want to try this. There's risk. Obviously, we all know this now. We don't have just idiots just peddling bullshit information because they're the only ones who are willing to speak. They're only crazy enough to speak. We have people with actual information. Like, Derek changed the fucking game, and he took, you kind of were the first to just be like, hey, fuck it, I'm going to tell the truth. And Derek went, okay, well, let me explain these things to people, because why don't we talk about it? There's really no point in not talking about it.
Power Project family, how's it going? Now, sleep is essential for your recovery and your performance, which is why we partner with 8 Sleep mattresses. We call them the Tesla of beds. Changes the temperature based off how you sleep. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yeah, head over to 8sleep.com/powerproject, and at checkout, you guys will automatically save $150 off your entire order. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes.
The only reason people wouldn't is because they feel like it might damage their careers or the idea that they work hard and so on and so forth. So that video of the Liver King is what I brought up. And I think like that's an important discussion, right? And I felt when you guys had Mike on and he was kind of going in circles and saying all these different things, like I really wanted to drive home like the importance of just like opening it up to everyone rather and just being truthful around these things. No matter what, we'll never be able to prove somebody is on or off drugs or whatever the excuse is, even at the Olympic level, even in sports that are tested. And this is, you know, you talked about the difference between Russians or typically good countries versus the US. And this is something that we face a lot. And I actually have a reasonable kind of explanation of that if you care to hear it.
Go for it.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, go ahead and comment down below and let us know what you liked about it. All right. Share this with a friend. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And also, we are on Reddit and Discord. All that's down below. All our sponsors and everyone that supports us down below there too. So you can get whatever you like from us. All right. Peace.